Welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School MTG. In this video, I have round 4 of the Goblin Hero Cup Old School Atlantic Tournament held at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey on May 2024. So this is the first old school charity event held at Dave's Time Warp, if according to what I know. And it was put together by the old school crew there, me included, but it was headed by Jonathan. So the event was a very nice success. We had 22 players, a lot of raffles, and as I said previously, I did win a couple of the raffles, right? So I was pretty happy with that. But that's really the only thing meaningful that I've won up to this point, because right now I am 0-3, so I haven't won a single match yet going into this round 4 game. The group stage is 5 rounds. Then it went to top 4 and then finals. So right now I'm like, I'm not gonna win anything meaningful. I know that, but I'm trying to, with the last 2 games, I'm trying to do the best that I can and try to learn what it is that I'm doing wrong with the deck or with my playing, because this exact same deck the previous week, right? Because I wanted to test it out. The previous week I won a Friday Night Magic tournament with a lot of the same players that ended up coming to the Goblin Hero Cup tournament, right? So I went 3-0. So I was very confident going into the Goblin Hero Cup tournament that I would do pretty well. So right now the results are very shocking to me. So first, I guess the best thing to do is to analyze the deck here. So this is the deck that I took to this tournament, and like I mentioned, this is the same one that I won a previous week's Friday Night Magic tournament. So, and this is very similar to the Hydra Tilt tournament deck that I took for that tournament, where I made top 8th place against pretty hefty competition. So I was pretty happy with that. So this version, I decided to take white out from the other one because I had white for 1 balance main deck, and then that was the only white card in the main deck. I had then, I believe, at least 3 disenchants in the sideboard, and I think that's the only other white cards I had. So I just wanted to streamline it a bit more, and actually I wanted to add more red to it because I felt red was more impactful. And like I said, I wanted to streamline things. So that's the main difference between this deck and the Hydro Tilt deck, where I did pretty well at, where I took out the white, I leaned a little bit more in the red. And then the main differences I would say is in the mana base. So the tournaments at Time Warp are proxy friendly, and I definitely took full advantage of that ruling. I will mention right now which cards are proxies. So all 4 Volcanic Islands are proxies. I have 3 Underground Seas only, so only 1, the 4th one, is a proxy. I have no Badlands, so both of them are proxies. And then let's see, going through the main deck after that, everything else seems like it's are real cards. In the sideboard, I do have 2 more proxies. I have an extra Abyss, which I don't have. I only have 2 Abysses. So that's a proxy on the sideboard. And then Falling Stars, I have only 1. So that second one is a proxy. So those are the proxies for this particular version. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the previous week it did really well. So I am honestly surprised at the results so far. So let's jump into game 1. I'm on the left, opponent's on the right. I'll try to keep track of my opponent's life because it's kind of hard to see from his die. So I mentioned that, since I was 0-3 so far and I'm playing a turn 1 Loa, I think I joked that if I don't win this game, I would quit Magic because turn 1 Loa is pretty brutal. My opponent went and played a Swamp and then passed it to me. So I had 7, I drew, and then I drew from the Loa. I played a Factory and then a Mana Ball. So the bad thing about turn one Loa is that, of course, you kind of sacrifice, you almost are like sacrificing a turn because you don't want to play anything so that you have 7. So you kind of slow yourself down a little bit. Here, I only got 1 card from the Loa, and then my opponent hymns me turn 2. So I'm at 5 cards now, right? So now I'm not at 7, so I cannot draw. So then I'm debating, okay, do I even try to slow down and then try to get up to 7 again? But then once again, I have to not do anything. Or am I more aggressive and then play more stuff out? So I decide to go with the aggressive route, right? So that turn 1 Loa ended up netting me just 1 card. I see no threats in my hand, if I'm not mistaken. I do see ramp though. Let's see. So 2 mana vaults, which is not that the best, but I do have a time walk. So that's mainly just to see if I can get a creature for next turn, which I did not. And then my opponent, from when he hit a tome and a copy artifact. So me, I attack for 2, I believe. Yeah, so 18 from the factory. So right now, so I can cast whatever it is that I get in my hand now, except maybe like black cards, like the Abyss. I don't have black yet, but any other card I can. So here I'm attacking for 2. My opponent's just played a swamp, so he's, other than that, he hasn't done much yet. But look at my side of the board. But as impressive as my side looks, without a creature, then doesn't, I'm not gonna win. Those cards are just, they look nice, but they're not doing anything. So my opponent's doing a demonic tutor. So yeah, I guess I say that I'm allowing it. So I have 1 blue and then 1 colorless. Well, actually 1 blue open. I guess I could have done a power sink or something like that. Spell blast. So that him and that demonic tutor, those are the only 2 cards that he's played. Look at my side. I played 4 artifacts. I played the time walk, and then I have 4 lands, but my opponent also has 4 lands. He played a Mace of Fifth just recently, which is going to stop my factories from coming in. So I believe he's at 16 now. I attacked twice with a factory, if I'm not mistaken. But now he has the mace, so. And so opponent offers for me to cut. And then he passes. So here I'm like, okay, I gotta do something because he's gonna do something big. Good thing is that I do have the Chaos Orb. So I wonder what he gets. So I think I got another land. So right now, if I had that tome, things would be different because I would be still drawing that 2 cards a turn. 7. Ooh, I twisted his whole hand. So he must have gotten that the disc. Ooh, that was brutal. Okay, so I'm activating my Chaos Orb to kill his mace. My flips have been horrible this whole tournament. Oof, and then I barely get it. And then animate an attack. Okay. Okay, that black die is kind of hard to tell. So I think he's at 14. We'll see. He drew a card and then just passed. So here I believe yeah. I am untapping my mana vault so it doesn't damage me, but I had no cards in hand, right? So I doubt I was going to do much anyway. So he's at 12, I believe. I pass. 3. Ooh, nice. Ritual and then send your vampire. So I believe he was at 12. 3, well, Okay, but some monolith. So I got a lot of mana. 3, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 mana. I can just fireball him. Okay, I had a land in hand. So I'm like bluffing. If he attacks, I'll of course I'll take the 4, but then he'll take 2 from when I get him back next turn. Animating attacking. So it should be a 10. And I just get a land. So here I'm like usually I would bluff and keep a land in hand. But he with black and this card, I'm like, okay, I should just play it. So I'm getting those hits in. He's at 8. Like I said, with that black die, it's a little hard to tell. Oh, but he just got a factory, man. I'm at 8. So he was at 8. So we're both at 8 if I'm not mistaken. But he's gonna kill me first because I'm doing 2 damage, but I'm not doing it anymore because he just has a factory now. If I get a fireball, I win, of course. Okay, so I'm trying to get him to block. All right, so we trade because he cannot pump it because he just brought it out that same turn. I'm tapping 3 mana 4. Ooh, nice Juggernaut. So that was a good way for me to get rid of because on his next turn, then he could pump the factory could pump itself. So then it would have been able to kill the Juggernaut. So me getting rid of it is good. So he's attacking for 4. I'm at 4. He's at 8. So I'm gonna get him back for 5. He'll be at 3. But then he's gonna hit me for 4. So I die first. So I gotta do something here. If not, then doesn't matter what happens, I'm still gonna be out of it. Yep, and then I concede. So I didn't get anything. So yeah. So for this one, so I'm trying to analyze things now as the games are passing. So for this one, I guess just lack of threats, right? I didn't get the discards. He didn't get any creatures when he made me discard. So at least I didn't notice. So it didn't really impact things that much. Any discard that he had, at least in this game. Part of that, of course, is luck, right? But I did not get a lot of creatures. A lot of times I was just stalling, just land pass or artifact pass without it doing much, right? So I think that's the main thing that was missing from this particular game for me to be able to, of course, to win, right? So unfortunately, I think that's the main thing. Just lack of threats. Of course, I didn't get that fireball, which would have won me the game in an instant. Going to game 2, my mistake. I don't think neither one of us mulligan, so I go first. So I think I had the same turn 1 last game, right? So, or at least similar. Underground Sea, mana ball for me. Opponent draws. Scrubland. Black Lotus. Okay, so we're taking a peek. He has a lot of lands in his hand. At least 3 lands. 4 with the one he played, and then Black Lotus 5. Okay, I see a balance there. So he may be wanting to set up that balance. Okay, interesting. I think he needs to play more stuff. So he does want to balance, I guess, for the discarding effect, because we have the same amount of lands and there are no creatures. So the only thing that he may have less of than me is cards in hand, but even that I doubt. So he did want to do the balance, but now he's maybe taking it back. Okay, so he's gonna hit me instead. And I think he took a burn. So he got 2 lands, so not bad. Yeah, so he took a burn, so he's at 19. So that's a big difference. Of course, he can't hit me, and then he could have hit balance and then him, but I think he had more cards in me anyway, or at least, yeah, it wouldn't have been a good thing to do. But he got my 2 lands, and then I had no other lands, so that hand was still pretty good. And then he got a land, and now he gets a factory. So me, I'm just stalling out here. So I was able to get a Juggernaut, but I will not be able to untap that Mana Ball, and it's gonna hit me every turn, and it's gonna be a while until I get. If I get lucky, I get 3 lands in the next 3 cards that I draw. Or might I get a Soul Ring? I don't know, but right now I'm not good. So my opponent hit me my 2 lands in my hand. The only 2 lands I had was actually that was a way better effect than the balance could have been. Normally, someone hits you and they hit lands. That's probably the best case scenario for you. In my case, it was the worst case because it doesn't matter what great cards I have in hand. If I have no lands to cast them, then it makes no difference. Even keeping at least one I think would have made a bit of a difference. Okay. So I took a damage from the Mana Ball, and then I'm attacking. He is not Balak, so he's at 14, I believe. 5 from now, and then 1 from the burn that he burned himself. So he cast a hippie the previous turn, and he didn't block with it, and he could have also blocked with the factory as well. But then he couldn't have cast the hippie. So he's taking he took that damage so that way he can have the hippie available. So here I'm like, okay, he's attacking with the factory, not with the hippie. I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's signaling that he's gonna block with it. But I'm like, he plays white. I mean, black and, other than the swords. Yeah, so yeah, he blocks the hippie with that Juggernaut. So right now, so I was just thinking, oh, he's killing it on purpose so that way he can balance and then it'll kill my guy. But he has 5 lands. I only got 1. So that's preventing him from doing the balance. If I go up ahead than him, then yeah, then it would still be worth it to balance. But honestly, I would have to get a lot of lands in a row. If not, then what? Is he No, he cannot be casting that balance. Whoa. So that's a big risk from him. So I'm not sure what that die signifies. Oh no, yeah, he tapped an extra mana. Okay, so then he has 1 floating. I guess he's gonna use it to activate his factory. Okay, so I had to discard it. Discard a control magic. I think I have to discard more. Brain gas, right? Because I don't have double blue. And when I do, I don't have the means to untap the mana vault for quite a while. So yeah, it was just And then that track is 6 mana. I'm not gonna have 6 mana anytime soon. Okay, so he did attack. I'm at 14. I'm at 13 because that mana ball is still hitting me for 1 every time it goes to my turn. I'm at 7, I believe, or something. Okay, I just passed. I took 2 and then I took 1, so I'm taking 3 every turn. 2 from the factory and then 1 from my own mana ball. So I finally got a land, but that's just 2 mana, right? So I don't really have that much stuff. Okay, that's pretty good because I can destroy, of course, the factory, but I have to tap out. So if he's going to do some kind of effect, I'm unable to interact with that. But once again, he's playing black. So when he balanced, he kept the factory only, of course, because that's the thing that's gonna give him the win, and so far it is giving him the win. And then he got rid of all his other lands, but he's the one getting lucky, and he got lands real soon after that. While me, so in the last since he Armageddon, I've only gotten 1 land. Okay, so I'm animating. So this is the second flip in this game. So previously my flips were horrible. I won 1 flip already, barely. Ooh, a second barely flip. That was very dramatic. Okay, that's not actually gonna do much. But it does prevent me from kind of casting other things. Because most of the things I have are artifacts. Okay, so I time walk just so I could basically get another card. Basically get a do-over. So yeah. So factory over there. I'm at 5, so I still need 1 more land or 1 more mana to then untap because then that mana vault's gonna kill me. So my opponent casted this, but he is not. It's not. It's against his best interest to blow it. So I had that Suchi, but I didn't have that 4th mana. So I'm at 4 now. Do I get a mana? I got a Soul Ring, so that's good. So I could have cast then the Suchi, but it got discarded. So I don't know if I have another. I think I have a Juggernaut in hand. So that's still. All right, no, I guess I didn't. I mean, I would have cast it, right? And then he hits me again. Two, three, four. What? Oh, okay, I see. I'm like, why didn't I cast it Chuggy? Because of the disc. I totally forgot about it. So okay, so I gotta untap the mana vault. This is gonna kill me. 2, 3, 4 mana. So I'm seeing which one I keep open. So I'm stabilizing here. So I finally got 4 lands plus a Soul Ring, and I untap my mana vault. But then he has a flyer now, so I can't even block with a factor, and I'm at 4. So I gotta top deck something here. He already discarded my fireball. So I think that's gonna do it here. So during these times, I try to really think about, what's in my deck in case, I go to 1 more round or, just trying to find every combination of things that I could do. But nothing's gonna save me. So I was mentioning that I wanted to copy the disc so that way I could activate my own disc to destroy the vampire, but since it's a copy, I believe it comes into play tapped. In hindsight, I should have double checked the ruling on that. But yeah, I believe so. It says it comes into play as a copy, right? So I'm pretty sure we played it right. I'm just saying there's a little room for ambiguity there, which I should have just asked, just to clear it up. And even now, like I'm still not 100% sure regarding if a copy artifact will come into play tapped if you copy artifact a Nev's disk. So if anyone who watches this knows the answer, please put it into the chat. But I lost game 2, so I am 0-2 in this one. So let's analyze my deck one more time. So the first game I mentioned, lack of threat. Second game, it was just, I guess, luck. He hit me, and then he hit away the 2 lands, and then I got unlucky where it took like many turns for me to get more lands. And then I had used the mana vault, and I couldn't untap it, and it must have done a good, at least 5 points of damage just from the mana vault. And then, yeah, he hit my fireball right before he was going to cast a vampire. I never ever got any. First of all, I don't think I played any fireballs or the abysses in either game. Maybe one fireball, maybe the first game, but not the second game. And that's a maybe. I don't think so, actually. But definitely, I did not see any abysses. And I do have a demonic tutor as well. I got a decent draw, right? So I have Ancestral, I have Time Walk is also a 1 draw. I have a Tome, Brain Geyser, right? So because that's the point of this deck. I know it does produce a lot of mana, right? So in that first game especially, if I had drawn a Fireball, I could have won hitting direct to opponent. Second game, the 2 lands got discarded from my hand, and then it took me a long time, so I didn't really have an abundance of mana, at least right onto the end, but then I got killed anyway. But yeah, honestly, that second one, I think that one's just more luck than anything else. And the first one, lack of threats. So I have 11 threats. So 4 Suchis, 4 Juggernauts, 3 Trikes. And of course, the fireballs are situational. It could be against creatures. It could be straight to opponent, or it could be a combination of both, which I've done a couple times where I do some points of damage to a creature or 2. And then since I usually have a lot of mana, I can still do some point of damage to the opponent as well, right? By paying extra for the fireball to hit an extra target. So, I don't know. So now I am 0-4. Definitely, I remember I was pretty dejected in this one. And really just 1 game left after here. And then I know I'm out. But I still made a commitment to record all the matches until the end. In terms of the top 4, and then especially the finals, because the tournament organizer, Jonathan, mentioned that he convinced Timmy from Timmy Talks to commentate on the finals game, and then which I was recording. So even though, I'm kind of like definitely was dejected up to this point, and as I think a good chunk of people would be. But nonetheless, I still made that commitment, and then so I just so I did get all those extra games recorded as well. But at least for me, there was very little motivation to record that final game at this point. But which I'll talk about it in the next video. But for now, I am 0-4 here, another loss. Thank you guys for watching.